Hi. It's always tricky having some morning coffee and not spilling on my cards or my iPad or anything. I'm just going to share this to my business page. Here I am right there on my iPad. So let me share to my page. If anybody's jumping on, please feel free to share this out anywhere you'd like. That's it. I'm not going to put a description. I don't want to waste a lot of time. So I can't plan anything. I can't plan client sessions. I can't plan live stream classes. I can't plan anything. It's like something that's the hardest thing for me to accept. It's probably like one of those big motherhood life lessons or supporting your husband's business kind of lessons. But I just can't plan anything. Everything gets canceled. Everything gets switched around. Everything gets changed. I could hardly plan my own hair appointment yesterday. I scrambled and had some amazing babysitter come through so that I could go do my hair appointment. And also so that I could then take my kids to go meet the lambs in the next little country town over. So, there's a whole lot when you ask Wu Wei to be your word for the year. Wu Wei is this go with the flow. It's a Chinese phrase or term. And it just means like kind of flow with it. It's flow. It's all about flow. And I'm studying the Tao Te Ching right now. And so it's all about that. And I'm studying the Gene Keys right now. Look, I'm shuffling up cards. Some people are popping on. Hi, my mom's here. Dana is here. Claire's here. At least some of these guys might be here. Claire's at an art show. I'm just trying a new time of day because, again, I'm like drained by the end of the day. Apparently 3 children, 3 boys, 5 years of age and younger. They're draining. And I just feel like, I don't want to say I feel like shit at night, because that's like pretty much basically amplifying the negative. But I feel like not doing cards at nighttime. I feel like just chilling out. I got a frog in my throat that's showing up. So I'm also reading a couple of amazing books. Good morning, Gilly. Hi. And so this one's really cool. This Akashic Records Soul Dialogues. I'm all into anything Akashic Records, you guys. And there's numerous dog-eared pages in this book, which I love to dog-ear my pages because I don't care anymore. Like I used to be like, don't touch the book, no highlights, don't even crease it. I mean, that still bothers me when you do like a super duper crease right here. But now I'm like, why not? I just want to be able to find the pages. And so I wanted to read a little bit to you about one that was just really, it's about activating that 6th sense. And I feel like anytime we have these solar experiences, whether it's a full moon, a new moon, a Mercury retrograde that's coming up in a little bit, we're all really trying to sync up with a bigger energy source. Maybe I'll do cards. Maybe I'll just talk. I just have the cards in front of me, and that's what I need. We're all trying to sort of tap into this universal energy, and that comes with this sort of 6th sense. And so there's this is a great book. It's these groups of people get together, and there's a couple of channelers that channel from the Akashic Records. I'm sure this is going to be like me someday. And they answer questions. So one of the questioners was, where is it? There it is. One of the questioners' questions was, how do we activate the 6th sense? Hi, Mia. Good morning. Hi, Dana. Yes, parenting is it's a lot of sacrifice, but I think as soon as we start spinning it to the positive side of things, which I'm really trying to, it becomes less of a sacrifice, and you actually start to see the beautiful gifts that are within it. So let's take a moment and let's connect with our breath, because that's the first recommendation from the Akashic Masters that this book is teaching me. That's not that I haven't heard, connect with your breath, go to your breath. That's like every single thing that everybody, even my husband, when I'm freaking out and I'm calling him on the phone because he's been gone for 5 days and my kids are kids, he's like, just breathe. Just remember it doesn't sound like you're breathing very much. I mean, you're staying alive, That's like a minimal. So you connect with your breath. Your breath is like this channel. The breath can open up everything. So let's take a moment. Let's connect with our breath. Let's close our eyes. Every time I connect with my breath, I exhale with an because I, study these codes of Take another breath in and let's release it with a nice AH sound. Go ahead, breathe in. Anytime I have a good pee, there's an involved. There's other things that your body can do that will produce ahs. Let it out. Be vocal about these experiences of when you're not satisfied and you need to breathe in and you want to release that dissatisfaction and that anger and whatever it is. Don't just breathe it out in like this fury of anger. I mean, there's a time for fire breath and dragon breathing, okay? And that's usually during an invocation or when you're purposefully working on clearing something out or activating something. But when you're really just like wanting to get rid of some of the drama that's going on inside of you, breathe out with that sound and allow the tonal frequency to clear the energy that's actually coming out of you so that you don't just let it reabsorb into your auras of your workplace, of your home, of wherever you're at. It's like walking back into, the Akashic Masters are likening me to, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's like, when you need to get rid of some gas and you just fart in the room that you're in or in your car, you're probably going to be breathing it in for a moment. But if you can go someplace with open airspace so it will dissipate, this is the kind of thing. You can never make a fart better, but you can make your energy. Thank you, Akashic Masters. You realize I have boys, and now we're talking about farts on a live stream. So let's go back to the breath for a moment. Let's go. And then with the Akashic Masters in this book, they talk about to activate those, to truly bring in the reactivation of those 6 senses. This is what I wanted to read to you. So breathe. For remember, the breath opens all the portals of your senses, so they are unified together and returned to you through the 6th sense that is now expanded because of your breath. Your breath is a very expanding power. The breath has expanded all of your senses, so you need not go anywhere other than where you are in order to have access to that information. For it is in this information that you are looking to know more. You're looking to know more about your 6th sense. And the knowing may be done in different ways, and it may not make logical sense what you know and how you know it, but you just simply know it. You simply do. And so it's about us realizing that we've had the experience of tasting what we see, or of hearing colors, or of whatever it might be, of feeling a certain vibration when you walk into a room. We've all had that experience, whether we can tap into it on a cognizant basis, on a conscious basis. That's what we're trying to do, because we've all also asked for the experience of forgetting to come to this incarnation and every incarnation. We've asked for that experience, and we have to go through and relearn it. And the key is, from what I've been finding through activating my own DNA and really getting in touch with what I've got going on in this lifetime, is the more you do to become conscious of it in each and every lifetime, the quicker you're going to have the remembering in your future lifetime. So, you may be born a child one time who has these amazing gifts, and instead of being born to parents who say, put those imaginary friends away and focus on school, we're now having more conscious parents, having children. And it's starting. It may not have been my generation necessarily, but it's starting to happen. Like, you'll never hear me tell my kids to put their imaginary friends away or leave them alone. It's just going to find different ways to nurture that while trying to get them to focus on maybe what's the task is at hand, whether it's school or whatever's going on. So you just know that it's there, and instead of sort of asking for it, you intend, you command it, you receive it. So it says, I intend. This is a phrase that you can use, and I recommend doing this under the full moon. The full moon was amazing last night. It started at about midnight Pacific time, so it's still in its peak fullness and glory tonight. So you go out and you can share this intention with the full moon. I intend to receive all that is being shared and witnessed by all of me and known by all of me. And when you encompass those words by all of me, you're encompassing not only your conscious, but your subconscious and your superconscious awarenesses as well. So you guys, it's like, it's so totally critical to bring in your subconscious and superconscious awarenesses. And by doing that, you ask for, I intend to receive all that is being shared and witnessed by all of me, meaning your higher self is witnessing a whole different ball game. It's a whole different perspective. So I intend to receive all that is being shared and witnessed by all of me and known by all of me. And this is muscle. And you got to work it out, and you've got to command it over and over again. The forgetting is strong in this lifetime. So let's pull 3 cards from my moon deck. I have also the tarot deck in front of me as well, but I don't know. Let's do some moon cards. Life with boys is an adventure, Holly says. Holly has 2 boys. Yes, Holly has boys. Cassie, hi, it's good to see you. So let's get 3 cards. That one's sticking out. We'll take that one. Oh, and that one just flew out. Actually, 2 more flew out. Well, way to go. We got it done. It's so funny now. They're like, now pull 3 tarot cards and put them on top. So apparently we're going to have a 6-card reading here for everybody. This is for everybody. I wanted to open this up to the collective energies. I just felt strongly about coming on today. And my husband's here, and I normally don't do that on Sundays. Ooh, that one's a sideways card. Fun. And so we're going to do it. We're going to do this full card reading. Okay, so what we have here, our first card is we have the 4 of Cups reversed. This is the Housewife's Tarot. So this is what it looks like right side up. This is like, no more drinking for me. No more. So I wouldn't say that the pictures on this deck necessarily honor 100% of the imagery that the tarot is trying to come out with. So I know tarot deeply. I know the 4 of Cups. It's kind of like this sort of apathy feeling. And honestly, nothing is making you happy right now. When you have this card foundationally, it's like right here, we have to look at our foundation. Nothing is maybe satisfying us, and we've waited too long to really make some moves. That's what the 4 of Cups reversed is all about. Upright, it's still like, I got some dissatisfaction, but I'm willing to wait it out. That's a really positive wait it out. That one's almost like the Buddha sitting under, before he became the Buddha, when Siddhartha Gautama went to the Bodhi tree and sat down. It's this, I'm just waiting. I'm not really super happy. I'm not really super sad. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for this enlightenment to happen, and I'm willing to wait. If I starve, that's how the enlightenment's going to happen, I guess. I'm willing to wait. And so he sits there, but when it's reversed, now you've waited far too long. You've ignored all the messages from your higher self, and it's time to move. And the supporting moon card is, I'm the weaver of my reality. So this is the spirit universe telling you, it's time to shit or get off the pot. We're gonna poop talk again. It's time to really get in here and say, okay, it's fine that you wait for the universe to help you co-create, but now, like the magical mystical spider, I always think of spider like Charlotte's Web, because my kids are watching that a lot, like the old 1978 film, because I love it, and the songs are awesome. I have how old it's so many years since I've watched that show, and I'm remembering all of Charlotte Web songs. Like, I'm telling you, it's a little weird. But that's what I see about her, is she weaved this reality. She changed the reality just by weaving a certain message that people were able to see. It's almost like it activated a different reality for that particular pig in that particular story. And you can do that same thing for yourself. So let's go on to our next card. And also use the full moon as a ritual to say, okay, for too long, I've been sitting in this place, so I'm going to let go of any fears, any resistance I have for moving forward, and I'm really going to pull in this capability that I have to start looking at the new future that I want to create for myself. And right after, we have this 2-week period where you can work on contemplating. You don't have to make this decision right away. Sometimes I thought, I got to make the decision right away. It's the full moon. I have to do it. I'm so busy. I got kids. Contemplate it for the next couple of weeks and really get ready to weave that new reality when the new moon hits and you have that beautiful sort of polarizing energy that can come out for you. So we have another set of cards here, the 2 of Swords. You're going to get to a point in your journey where you're still going to be undecided. This is the card. This is the shut up so I can listen card. And isn't this so funny? She's got her weapons in front of her, like crossed in front of her, almost like she's got her shield up while she's blindfolded. So this is not something where in the Two of Swords there's a decision to be made between one thing or another, and you still need to have some time to check in with your body. It kind of goes back to the whole story here that I was reading you. So it says, I'll read you a little more because it's a great segue. So it goes back, dear ones, to the breath, and it goes back to the intending in every area of your life. Instead of generically speaking to the field of all that is and all that knows and all you are, you're speaking to the plants, you're speaking to the animals, you're speaking to Mother Earth herself. You're asking your space, is it happy the way it's decorated, or would it like something new? So for example, let's anchor this, especially with this Two of Swords card, is you're needing to let go of a lot of outside distractions. Put your guard, put your metaphysical shield up and cut out the distractions. Cut out the whole, you see something, you get distracted by it, and you're off and running, okay? So that's the whole idea of putting the blinders on. And drop into your body and ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want? And make it simple. If you have a problem with this, or you haven't really been in touch with asking yourself some things that it needs, what do you want? What do you want to eat today? What do you want to wear today? Look how funny this is. What do you want to eat today? She's sitting in front of a big turkey, very nourishing. If you're not a meat eater, you find your protein nourishment in some other way. The animals are here in part to support the humans, and that does mean it's part of our food chain. So there's nothing wrong with being a meat eater at all. But then also the card that is a pair for this is this conscious eating nourishes me. So this is the best way. This is what it's saying is, for you to help reduce the distractions, it's the food that you're taking in that's causing this internal distraction for you. So interestingly enough, as you drop into your body and you get more in tune with what your body needs, start first with the needs that it has on this physical plane. So like we're not trying to jump planes of reality. We're not trying to go from one existence. We're not going to go into the parallel realms. Maybe we'll do some astral traveling as we get going, but no, in this experience, to help you get out of this indecision state that you're going to find yourself in again, needing to make a decision and not wanting to go back to this place where you're being pushed. Go to the food. Go to your body. What does it need? What kind of care does it need today? What kind of self-care does that look like? I read in a book recently where one woman's version of self-care, and I'd never looked at self-care this way, was looking at her schedule. She was a very busy working mom. The book is called Do Less, and it's awesome. I don't even have it in front of me. It's probably in my purse. And it's by Kate Northrup, the daughter of Christine Northrup. It's a Hay House book. So these two women are very well-known authors. Christine, the mom, has done a lot of nourishing the woman's body. So her daughter has grown up with this watching a very busy, very powerful mother, and then she has her own children, and she's like, okay, I need to really help mothers figure out how to do less. Okay, and so the first thing, I don't even know where this was going. I read the first way that she does self-care. She looks at her schedule, and she realizes on one day of the week there was, she had to leave 15 minutes. Her husband wasn't going to get home, like, let's say until 3:15, and she needed to leave at 2:00 to get to her 2:30 appointment, and there's 15 minutes that her daughter, like, who's going to watch the daughter? Can you just leave the kid home for 15 minutes? I mean, she contemplated, well, I could just stay and wait for my husband to get home, but what if he's late? Then I'm probably going to be late for my appointment. And so no, the biggest form of self-care for her in that moment was getting somebody, in that case her mom, was able to come over and watch her daughter so that she could leave, and it was only for 15 minutes. The husband came home. Like it was just for 15 minutes. And so that has been the biggest form of self-care for that particular woman. And it really dawned on me that I'm like, oh, so self-care can be, I sometimes think I don't have time for self-care, but every single time I have my neighbor say yes to helping me out, that's self-care. And so it's about reframing what you've got going on in your mind. Okay, so there's alternate messages coming through here with this card reading. Just like I talked about how we can reframe the word sacrifice, that we're sacrificing for our kids. You can reframe that to the positive. Like, I say I'm so exhausted and I'm like drained and just physically unable to do cards at night. But no, I go do cards for myself instead. And I actually take that time. And that's very valuable self-care time. I used to have the shoulds. You should be going live. You should be doing some service. You should be advertising your new card reading course or your new Akashic reading course or your Akashic reading group or your codes of awe. Like, you guys know what I do. I really am having a struggle with advertising lately. So we'll get over it. We'll get over it. Maybe it's not the woo way for this year. That's not the way. So we have our final couple of cards here. And I like this. It came out sideways. And I'm immediately just flipped it up right because I just love the Empress card. I think she's like the... She takes in all of the beautiful divine essences of all the 4 queens in the tarot deck, and she kind of gets it out to you here in this representation of the divine feminine in the major arcana. So what this is saying to you is if you can realize your part in co-creation and making decisions, and then also realize the best way to do that is drop into your body to ask yourself what you do desire, to stop with the what should I be doing, what other people expect me to doing, what are other moms or other professionals doing. You drop into your body and you ask what you need. What are all the parts of me that are witnessing me need? So you're calling in your higher self, you're calling in your inner self, you're calling in all the parts of you are also your guides, your masters, teachers, and loved ones. You know, I'm not saying that means we are the master like Kuan Yin. I'm not Kuan Yin. I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm Kuan Yin. I'm 1/15th fraction of her essence. But no, she guides me. And so she's a part of me that's a part of this witness of this holographic universe that we're in. And so, yeah, like this is something that I do. When you do that, when you can really get to that point, you are the Empress. You can pull in all of the amazing divine feminine essences that you want, but also the Empress, I would say she has this beautiful yin yang essence to her, because within the divine feminine there's a bit of masculine, and then the Emperor has also, he's the counterpart to the Empress. He also has that beautiful yin yang significance where even though he's very masculine, he has that very feminine place right inside of him. And that's different, I think, than some of the kings and the queens. Some of them are full on, in their roles. And so that's why we have these Empress cards. What is the supporting card? How do you reach the pinnacle of your Empress? And this is the Empress is able to do everything. I mean, look at her. She's got the recipe for success, is what she says on that card. I have the recipe for success. And I just love that all of our cards today were women. This one was the reversed one. So it's really calling into the power for ourselves. I mean, I just don't have a lot of dudes that join on my live streams, couple of them, but they are usually men that are really standing in their feminine spot as well as their masculinity. So you can call in, you can be the Empress, you can be the woman that is able to handle all of the different tasks that you have in your life. I know there's a couple of people watching, like Sarah. I don't know if she said anything, but she's somebody that gives me the impression that she's got this Empress energy. She handles all of the professional tasks, like got mom life. Hopefully there's some self-care in there as well. Maybe this is a deep reminder to do that. But yeah, how do you tap into this energy? It's through stillness. And it says, I allow stillness to heal and reveal. And this goes back to taking that time, that, shut the hell up so I can think card. You go back to that stillness. You quiet down the distractions. It's so funny. Like the other day I deleted the Facebook app off of my phone. And I almost ran to Facebook to say something. I deleted the Facebook app. Like, I'm that addicted to social media. I am that addicted to these distractions. And that's part of my makeup. It's part of the process of my awakening. I'm actually realizing that from studying the gene keys. The distraction is one of my shadows. Like it's the shadow of my spiritual development sphere, guys. Distraction. I'm all, whoa. So that's part of this process that I'm going through is I'm like, okay, the social media is a huge distraction for me. And when I asked the Wu Wei energy to come float me away into 2020 and beyond, I started to like, I just don't want to be on social media, which is really challenging when I have a VIP group and people in there. Hi, some of you people who are like watching, and I love you. It's very challenging when you see so many of your maybe counterparts or everybody on your Facebook is like, hey, selfie here, advertising post, I look good, buy my shit, things are wonderful, be inspired by me. And I'm over here like, I have bags under my eyes, I haven't worn makeup in 3 weeks, like, because there's been pink eye in my house and I don't want to get pink eye in my $25 mascara bottle. Like, I have the makeup that I have on today is left from yesterday because I didn't have time to wash my face last night, which is why I don't really wear makeup, so it's never going to be, for me, I'm not going to fulfill the imagery that I have in my mind. So me trying to do so is like fighting. It's like taking my canoe and trying to steer it upstream right now. And so I'm just going to sit back. And maybe I'm going to come on and do cards because I really love doing cards. And I'm not doing as many card readings as I used to do. And so I want to keep that muscle, just like that breathing. That breathing is a muscle. I want to keep that in check. And I want to keep that going for me. So I'm going to check in on my cold coffee by now. Hi, Emma. I see you here. Hello, my dear. I love, this is like last night's full moon. Dana said, look at the full moon behind her. I was driving to pick up takeout food. My husband got home after a long week and an unexpected extra day being gone. And I was like, I'm not cooking today. Like, we're getting takeout. And we have this delicious Himalayan restaurant that's like walking distance from our house. And I probably should have walked there, but I drove. Holly knows this other Holly friend of mine that's on here. She knows what I'm talking about. Totally walking distance. I really should have, but I didn't want to walk back with like $60 worth of food. So I was looking at the moon. I actually pulled over, got out of my car. This is how much I should have been walking, and just stood there. And I put my phone up to take a picture, and then I realized how lackluster it looks on my phone, so I immediately put my phone down, and I said, this is an experience for me to have with the moon and not for me to be distracted by capturing this experience for social media. Y'all can go outside and look at the moon tonight. It's going to be amazing. Wherever you're at, it's going to be amazing. So take that as a little recommendation. Have I thought that can be the appeal, the realness of me? Yeah, I have. And I think there's like a lot of people, Mia, that's a really good point, have said that. And so maybe it is, but I'm fighting it because I am still plagued by the appearance of perfection that's all around me. So that's the hard thing, Kate. And this is the real talk. This is the real thing. Is I'm still so, we're never going to get rid of our ego, but it's still so controlling. Like, I'm just barely finally getting to the point where I don't compare myself to other moms about how I should be momming. And like yesterday we were having a little picnic outside and they had the packets of seaweed, and the wind blew and like the seaweed was like, and it fell all over the ground, and my kids are like sobbing and they need more seaweed, and I have no more seaweed, so I'm picking up the seaweed off the ground and I'm giving it to them. And the ground wasn't wet, guys, it was dry. And I'm like, here, eat it. And like, I kind of was like, in my mind, there's a lot of other moms around here, and do they do the 5-second rule, or are they like, oh, that ground was dirty, may have had some content? And I'm like, just eat it. I have 3 kids. They eat off the floor at home. So I really have gotten to the point, and I'm not really worried about being seen in public looking fantastic. I really don't care about that either. But there's just this image. There's this thought to me that nobody wants to see the tired looking lady on Facebook. Dana says, appearance though is almost always a veneer. Yeah. And so maybe the reality is I show up real. Extra probiotics is what Mia says. I agree with that. I feel like my kids, they play in the dirt all day in my yard, so they've probably put more gross biotics in their mouth from that than the like what maybe sort of touched the seaweed before I handed it back to them. Bryn says it's only 5 seconds at your house. Yeah, I mean, there's also been like I swept, and there's some goldfish in the pile that I'm sweeping, and I sweep pretty often at my house because it's boys, and then the kid like goes and grabs the goldfish out of there, and before I can even stop it, and I'm like, oh, that's like 5-day-old goldfish in a pile. I'm gonna be better about that, but I don't care about that. So there's a level of uncaring that will come to me, and maybe that's what really just getting into it and really finding that place where I'm in love with what's happening in my experience and I'm willing to share that. And I think there are a lot of moms and people and women and even men that can touch as well, because we all are trying to have this image. And I think transparency is one of the beautiful gifts in the Gene Keys, which is not one of my gifts. And that's not saying I can't hone in on it, but we all really want more transparency. We really just want to see through the bullshit. And I think that's one of the things that we want with developing, here's the full circle. That's one of the things we want with developing our sixth sense, is how can we see through the bullshit? How can we see through our own bullshit? And that's by stepping in. That's why you get out of your mind space. The ego is very loud up here. What should you be doing? How should you be looking? Oh, your selfies looked better 10 years ago when you were 28 instead of 38. Duh. Like, no kidding. So it's like you just get away from it and you drop back into the body. Let's connect it up with the DNA for a second. Every bit of who we are is stored in our DNA. There's different layers of DNA, and they're not linear because linear is a human thing. We have time that starts at this time and it ends at this time. We have 1 that starts there and ends at 10, if you're going from numbers 1 to 10. It doesn't go 1, 7, 6, 3, 8, 10, 4, 5. Like, that's not how the order goes. We all know this. We're all teaching our children how to count and how to add. But when you have the DNA, all the layers are mixed within each other. But you have a layer that helps communicate with all the other layers. You have a layer that holds your life purpose and your life plan. You can tap into that layer, but you can't do it up here. You have to do it by sinking into your body, by really starting to listen to your DNA. Listen to your higher self, which is actually, your higher self is a layer of your DNA. So your higher self isn't even above you or outside of you, it's actually within you. And that's been a very powerful change for me, is to talk to my higher self like it's my inner self. And I'll still use the term higher self because a lot of people are familiar with that and they trust that imagery more than they trust the inner self imagery, but it's the same thing. There's a layer of your DNA that holds your higher self, that holds all of the connection you have with all of your guides, with all of your masters, with all of your ancestors. There's the Akashic record. There's your Akasha. There's the layer of DNA that holds all of your experiences. So we're not like tapping into this mystical library in the sky, again, because we're non-linear, or because we're linear humans. When I take somebody on a visualization process to the Akashic records, I do help them visualize this library type space, because that's what we're familiar with. We're not familiar with trying to look at, we're not familiar with trying to look at a picture of the DNA. Like, here's a picture of the DNA. We're not familiar with trying to assess, our Akashic records from this sort of design that is how we know our DNAs to look. We're familiar with this concept of a library, of a book of knowledge, but that book is located within you. And these layers, they talk to each other, and there's more. There's more. I'm like just giving a nice big summary of it all. There's layers that are associated with all of your ancestors, with the whole collective, because sometimes you bring shadow work into a lifetime because you choose your inner self, your higher self, your guides, your oversoul, your inner soul, your outer soul, whatever you want to call this. You choose that in the in-between state, and you say, okay, now as a collective, and it's happening a lot since we've switched into the Aquarian era out of the Piscean era, that we are starting to bring in work to do for the collective. It's not even your shit. It's not even your damaged parts from your previous lives. You just decided to bring forward this to help out everybody else, to help out. Everything's accelerating, and it's because of this. Consciousness is accelerating. Our ability to remember is accelerating, and it's because we're all doing the work. So anytime you do a personal DNA activation for yourself, it's like a ripple in a pond. It's radiating outward without you having to do anything to anybody. Doing it for you, taking that meditation time for yourself, that 20 minutes or 30 or 60 minutes, whatever it is, and visualizing, for me, the codes of awe, that right there is helping all around me. And I'll tell you, since September, I've been doing a lot of DNA activations because I become a certified codologist, and I'm noticing it. All of a sudden, my husband's interested in the gene keys. I haven't been like showing him codes. I don't have them hanging around my house, although I might. But he's actually interested in really diving deeper into himself. And it's because he has one of the gene keys, self-obsession, which is a shadow of his. And it's like the narcissist gene key. And for some reason, he likes that because he's like, oh, I'm a narcissist and it's in my DNA. It's like a permission for him. So we're working around that, but even narcissists need love. And he's not nearly as, on a scale of 1 to 10, he's like down here. But it's interesting that it appealed to him when he finally heard that gene key. And he was like, so you're telling me this is all about me? All of this is about me? We could just talk about me all day long, and you want to talk about me all day long? And I'm like, yes, honey, let's talk about you all day long. So it happened. I didn't force it on him, but it was all something, part of this rippling effect changed. And I just kept listening to the gene keys, and I kept going on and on about our kids as gene keys and how it all works together. And I think finally he was like sick of hearing me talk about myself and our kids, and realized that we could talk about him a little bit too. Yeah, letting your higher self be above you or outside of you is so hard to approach, because I think we're all trying to be more mindful, and we're all trying to connect more to ourselves. So dropping into your body and really listening, naming the places where you're experiencing tension or anxiety or anger or fear. And that's challenging. When you're in the middle of an anxiety, first I start rubbing essential oils all over me, and then I start tapping. I start tapping because I can't get out of it. And then after a moment or two, I can actually, as I'm tapping through all the tapping spots, I'm a big fan of tapping right now, I can actually start to sense where this issue started originating from. And I can go into that place and I can get deeper. But it didn't happen right away. At first I was just running around like a chicken with its head cut off, being anxious and crazy and excitable. Best compliment I had from my husband yesterday is, all women are crazy. You're less so than some. I'll take it. Bryn says tapping is amazing. It is amazing. I don't know why I waited so long to start tapping. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to take a class. Maybe buy a book, because it can really help you with some of the tapping scripts. If you get a session from me in the future, I might show you how to tap and walk you through that process, and we'd have it recorded so you'd have your own personal little tapping session. But it's to be done in the moment that you're experiencing the intensity, not necessarily later when it's not intense. It's all it is. Emma started tapping. So good. So good. All it is really, it's something to slow you down. It's something to stop everything and to go onto your various tapping points and to start resetting whatever's going on biologically inside of you that's causing this thing. And this thing is, you're not listening. You're not listening to your body. You're not listening to something that's going on. And so it's time to slow down and go in. Oh. So I gave you a card reading today. I love the cards that came up. I'll just post a picture of them and put it in the comments here. I'm not doing any personal cards. I'm sure it... I just read Bryn's comment. I'm sure I look like a crazy person on the airplane, just like everywhere. I would have to say I'm tapping in front of my kids, and the cutest experiences is usually my oldest child is the one that gets me tapping. I'll just be real. And my middle child, he sees me doing it, and it must look strange. And he comes and he hugs me and he says, I love you, Mommy. I love you. And it's so weird. I didn't have to tell him I did that, but I'm saying the words out loud. And I'm saying, and I'm not hitting, but I'm like tapping. And he sees that, and his response to that is to just overwhelmingly want to hug me. And if I never started doing that in front of them to handle that situation where I was angry with my oldest and pull me away from yelling at him or doing something that will damage our relationship in the future because I can't control myself in the now, there's the reality of it. Yeah, I'm a yelly mom, okay? And I sometimes use swear words. And it's never like in a super malicious way directed at them. But anytime you're yelling and swearing in front of you, like, come on. Like, I wouldn't do that to other people's children. So why am I doing it to mine? There's your transparency right there. But I slow down. I use tapping now. I got the middle one that's suddenly hugging it out with me. He's like, great. I had never realized he would come through as my little comrade, my little support guy. But he is. So when you open yourself up to slowing down and dropping into your body, you're going to see some big changes. And also you're going to, the Two of Swords card will kind of come up for you, because you'll see some changes and then you'll be faced with new decisions. And one of those for me is how I'm handling social media. So you'll probably see maybe less of me. Maybe I'll do more posts. Maybe I'll do less. Maybe I still won't do anything different than I'm doing now until spring, until the cyclical energy of the universe changes. Who knows? I don't know. But for today, this is a really good message. So enjoy your full moon, command the intentions that you have for yourself, and drop into your body to see what those really should be. Because when you can link up the things that you came here to do, create, be, inspire, and serve with, when you can connect with those things, you really, really, really calm some of your extrasensory issues down. You calm some of your anxieties down. You calm some of your intense emotions down, because your body is no longer trying to send you desperately the signal that you're not hearing. Your sixth sense is there, and you just have to open yourself up to it. So, have a great day. I'm going to go rejoin my family. I really liked this. I'm not going to wear a hoodie next time because I'm really super sweaty now. For some reason, I'm hot. But other than that, we're good. Dana says, the oldest child always seems to want to be in control of every dang thing. Yeah. And the middle child always seems to be able to see. Yeah, I think that that's what it is. And now I'm going to open up to that support. So thank you, everybody. Have a great day.